In this video, I'm going to give you a walkthrough on what people do not do to build personal credit in 2025. The rules to build credit have stayed the same forever, and they haven't changed because your credit score is built on your ability to use and repay credit as agreed. I'll cover the myths and challenges of people afraid to use credit cards and loans, what people use instead of credit cards and why it's not helpful, mistakes along the way to build credit, and what you can do to start building credit today. What people do to not build credit. They think that debit cards are safe. And yeah, they could be safe somewhat so you don't, have a super late payment. But if you overdraft on these if you overdraft on these debit cards, you're gonna pay the $25 fee no matter what. They don't protect you as well as credit cards do. If you have to have a claim against a charge because of an overpayment or something like that, then you need to fill out an affidavit and you don't get the money back right away. You need to wait 30 days for the claim to be investigated, and then maybe, just maybe, they might give you the money back, or they'll have or they'll ask for more information and then go from there. So for that reason, bank cards are horrible. They are slow to process refunds, they're slow to post to begin with, and they never add on to your reports. Banks are notoriously old-fashioned, so their systems are slow. They're built back, very old technology, and a lot of times these banks are not reinvested in that form, right? It's more of a marketing and loans and things like that. But for credit cards and ATM cards, they're tough to work with. What people do to not build credit as well is they just want to focus with cash. Cash is antiquated for these types of days because cash is just a slow way to do business, right? Anything you want to do online, you need a credit card. You want to pay a bill, credit card. A lot of places, if you want to pay ahead of time, like secure a spot or pay for product pre-order, you need to have a credit card. And it's just, you need to have an electronic means to do things, right? And the credit card is great because they protect you a lot quicker. If there's something that you see that shouldn't be charged on your card, you can put a claim in right away. And a lot of places just don't want to accept cash. They don't want to have the liability of cash, trusting people with cash. Credit card is just easier, it's more secure for them. They have an automatic record of it, a transaction. You don't have that with cash. It's not really reported who paid cash, etc. A lot of times just cash coming in and that's it. So it's really tough to also track your expenses with cash too. You don't have a system to figure all of that out. You really got to keep a notepad or an app on your phone. It's really more work. So having a credit card makes it a lot easier looking through the statements. It's categorized these days, and it's just a simple way to do business. Credit cards get a bad rap because people are avoiding to learn about it. They don't understand how interest works. I think people don't take the time to learn a little bit more about interest. If a card is 20% interest in a year, you're going to pay not 20% every month. You're going to be paying a little under 2% of whatever you owe if you carry that balance over, right? So you have that grace period up till the next statement. And people just sometimes are afraid because they made a mistake before in the past. They had a late payment, or they had a charge off because something happened. They closed the account and it's now on the credit report. It's like, oh, I'm not dealing with that again. I'm never going to do that again. I'm just going to stick to the debit card. It's safe. There's a lot of ways to just put a system to automatically pay the credit card. You don't have to be perfect with it. These systems are there to facilitate paying them back. So as long as you're willing to set up the auto pay and have the cash available, you'll be fine. And even with the bank gives you no mercy. If you are late on any of payments, if you overdraft, you're going to get hit with a ton of fees per day, which is crazy. I remember one time I overdrafted for like 10 days because I didn't have an app on the phone. There was no iPhone back then, and it's just a charge came in and I just was traveling and I didn't recognize it. So I had an overdraft fee for like 12 or 15 days, and they didn't take it off. So I paid over $500 in overdraft fees. It was ridiculous. So does this bank, you suck. And then the other thing with credit cards is a lot of times people just avoiding to learn because they're afraid, but also they already have poor money managing skills. They learn from somebody that actually had a bad experience. They were warned by somebody that had a bad experience. People like that, it really, I feel bad for a lot of Americans because we are not taught this in school. We're not taught this in high school, how to manage money, interest, mortgages. All of the information is really just, hey, good luck. And it would have been very helpful to learn about this kind of stuff up front. Even if it's a little bit, even if you might not be interested in it, it was there, it's available, right? So, and many times family and friends also give you bad advice. And my motto is, don't take advice from somebody that's not where you want to be. So if you have somebody that doesn't deal with credit cards and they're giving you advice, don't listen to them. You want to take advice from somebody that is already where you want to be, right? And that applies across the board. Would you take advice for somebody to open a McDonald's, let's say, franchise or something along those lines from somebody that doesn't own a McDonald's? No, you want to talk to somebody that already has McDonald's, is successful in it, and you want to learn more about it. That's the person you want to talk to, right? So same thing applies with money. You want to talk to somebody that's way ahead of you, that has an 800 plus credit score, that has high limits, that has business credit cards, that owns a business, etc. So you're talking to somebody that's knowledgeable that can actually help you, right? And a lot of times people don't work on their credit because they made a mistake in the past. If they made a late payment, they had a charge off, they had a medical issue, they couldn't pay their bills, and boom, they basically messed up their credit score. But a lot of these things are repairable. You can work with companies like my company, BizSpark Solutions. We are able to, clear off a lot of these errors, a lot of mistakes. We can negotiate with a lot of creditors. We can work, act as if we can act as if we were you, right, with power of attorney, and really remove a lot of these instances from your credit report. It's a case-by-case basis. If we can't help you, we just say, hey, sorry, no, we really can't help you. But most of the time, 80% of the time, we can really help you and remove some of these bogus claims against you, right? So in 2025, you need to be able to be able to improve your credit score. If you're underneath 680, that's your opportunity to improve your score, right? If you have high utilization and your score is slightly below 680 or above 680, that's actually not too bad. You could just pay off some of the cards and you'll go up again. But if you're in the 500s, then you either just started or you have some kind of negative, whatever it may be. And that's where people that do credit repair and a lot of these YouTube videos that people tell you how to improve your score can actually be helpful. Not everything on YouTube is going to be really helpful. You really got to talk to somebody that can see where you are at, tell you where you are. You need to tell them where you want to be, and then they can help you get you there. But a lot of times just watching videos and trying to do it yourself, yeah, you may get some results and some traction, but talking to somebody knowledgeable will actually get you there so much faster. So this video is for the people that are afraid to not use their credit cards or even get a loan because they're just made a mistakes or hurt for somebody else. It's your opportunity to do better, to actually take an initial step. And I challenge you to open a new credit card, and I challenge you to start using your credit card and pay it off, put it on auto pay so you don't have to pay the interest and pay it in full. You'll be surprised that it's actually not that bad, and it actually will push you to start managing your money better, managing your cash flow for personal reasons and for business reasons, because as a business owner, as a person, as a human, you really want to get financials in a good place the older you get.